You will do what you know to do. This is in the topic of basically if you want something like you'll do what you want. You'll do what you know to do. So therefore, if you don't start doing something you want to do, you'll never do it. So, for instance, I want to get a laser engraver, a laser cutter, laser engraver, and I want to get a new car. But the catch about it's funny because I'm not really in a deep mindset. This is right now, so you can tell, maybe. But basically, this, like, if that laser thing won't fulfill a need, if the need's not there, then I'll never get a laser thing. If I'm not making anything, if I'm not actively trying to solve an issue, then it's not there. And I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, I want to be an engineer. Like I want to have an engineer type, style of life in a way where I want to create things around the house. I want to be productive. I want to be an entrepreneurial engineer, and which is interesting. I want to be an entrepreneurial engineer, and basically, if you're a computer programmer, you want to be a computer programmer. You want to be a teacher. You want to do things. Start learning how to think like that job, right? If you want to be in business, start trying to find a way to think like that, because if you think like that, then you'll automatically do it no matter what. If you want to be entertaining, just try to look at, don't be a consumer, but be a producer, be a observer of the content you are consuming or observing, because if you can transition out of want to solve a need, because when you're in that want category, when you're like, I obsess and I want something that I do not have, then that is where a big part of sin comes in, where it's the act of obsessing over something you do not have, and it's just it doesn't put you in a good, it doesn't put you in a productive space, and it leads you away from a communion with God, and it leads you away from the joy and peace and patience and kindness and love of God, when you start trying to want something that you don't have. You could you'd be like, oh, I need something, right? But it's just like it's that never being satisfied and being content. So one, if you have the means, so it's like, oh, well, if you say that, then the face value is you can never really want anything and you can never really improve. And that's not necessarily true if you're hearing that face value, right? So if you're hearing me correct, is you're resourceful and content with what you have, and you have a plan to do what you're doing in a more efficient way. And so, but if you just want it just for the sake of wanting it, then yes, that is wrong. So yeah, I think if you truly want to be, if you truly want to be someone, you must know how to think like them, and it'll naturally happen, right? Like, if you transform your mind to the renewal of the scriptures, if you transform your mind to the thinkings of Christ, then hey, you're gonna be fine, because you're gonna serve more people, you're gonna love more people, and you're not gonna see people as objects, you're not gonna see people as pawns. You're just gonna actively want to serve their needs, because more we decrease, the more He increases, and it's about giving glory to Him and doing it for Him, and realistically, like if it's just also like the level of your depth that is what will be done. So if you are, jeez, brother, if you can, that was weird. If you could, if you know how to code C++, if you know how to do that, then you can probably build, anything with that. More, and then if but if you're like, you just know the basic structure of programming, then there are things, and if you're resourceful, there are things that you can do to start programming. And then once you find the incompetency, the edge, the dory, the Mariana Trench, then you have to start going into that little like darkness and bringing the light where so that's where you need to know to grow, right? But then you also it could be very specific to what you're doing. Like, you're building a website on Shopify and you're like, I want an e-commerce website. Well, obviously they're going to give you the wireframe. They're going to give you that, but they're not going to give you, you're like, oh, I want to do like a GQL, graph code or like graphing database. And then, I don't know. And so then you're like, oh, but it needs to be custom. Then you have to figure out how to do that, right? And see if you can just attach it and see if it's compatible. And if you want to do a video, you can use like these iMovie, but until you actually need to color grade or add to a professional degree, then you can easily get Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro or even Avid or figure out how to combine the binaries into it and build your own thing. But if you're resourceful like MacGyver, and you are on the precipice of your knowledge, that is when you're incompetent. But that's when to take a step and start to learn, because it's not bad to be incompetent. It's just bad to project your incompetency as competency. So know what start thinking how you want to start thinking. Start transforming your mind, and then you will see like a Halley's Comet tailwind of things that you wanted to start doing. Because if you can start just thinking like the person, then you can start becoming the person, and then you'll be becoming another person. You'll be becoming another person, and then that is how you successfully start changing. Is the thought and the style of thought. So whoop.